Whether it's scary, otherworldly monsters, evil spirits who refuse to move on, or psychologically twisted plot lines that snatch away your sleep for nights, horror movies can be very cathartic. They hide real-world fears beneath allegories and metaphors to help us, the audience, face our fears and think about the nuances of being human and mortal. If you're a horror movie fan and can't wait to see what the rest of this year holds, get out your pen and your binge list because we're going to explore all the exciting upcoming movies this year. But before we continue, please take a second to click on that subscribe button as it means a lot to us. Thanks, and let's begin. Weapons! On a Wednesday, what was expected to be a normal school day turns into a day of terror when one of Justine Gandy's students shows up to her class. The rest, they'd all woken up at 2:17 the previous night and had walked out of their homes, disappearing into the darkness of the night. As expected, the parents get emotional and paranoid in blaming Justine. What happened to the kids? Where did they go? Be found? Head to your nearest theater on August 8th to find out. Directed by Zach Kreger, Weapons stars Julia Garner as Justine Gandy and includes Josh Brolin, Benedict Wong, Alden Ehrenreich, and Austin Abrams. The spec script, whose details remain unknown for now, was the subject of an intense bidding war between Universal, New Line Cinema, Netflix, and Sony. New Line Cinema ultimately won with the promise of an 8-figure sum and theatrical release. Early test screenings of the movie have been largely positive, people comparing it to the works of Bong Joon-ho, Peter Jackson, and Sam Raimi. There have been whispers that the movie focuses on witchcraft, so we might be looking at a Peter Pan-like villain. We can't wait until August to see what is behind the disappearance of the children.
What the? I wasn't even involved.
The Toxic Avenger. Macon Blair's 2023 remake of the 1984 film, The Toxic Avenger, is finally ready to grace theater screens this August 29th. If you're not aware of the lore, The Toxic Avenger is about a nerdy janitor named Melvin who falls into a drum of toxic waste and becomes a hulking superhero called Toxie. The 1984 movie inspired an entire franchise with 5 movies. Unfortunately, the 5th installment, premiered on September 21st, 2023, failed to make it to theaters. Filmmakers had a real hard time finding distributors for the movies full of gore and graphic content that discouraged a lot of them. Finally, January 2025 proved to be lucky for Toxie as Cineverse gained distribution rights. That said, this new and modern version of Toxie is named Winston Goose, a janitor just like his predecessor. After he turns into Toxie from a freak accident, he battles corrupt CEOs and gangsters while trying hard to be a good father to his son. Toxie is played by 2 actors. Peter Dinklage voices him, while behind the makeup, it's Luisa Guerrero. The cast also includes familiar faces like Kevin Bacon, Elijah Wood, and Jacob Tremblay. We wonder what the modern Toxie is gonna be like. Witchboard! Emily, her new friends and fiancé Christian, renovates an old carriage house into a cafe in New Orleans. What was supposed to be a fun and exciting venture turns dark after he finds a pendulum board used to contact spirits. Hoping to learn more about it, she invites Alexander Baptiste, a renowned occult expert who knows about the board and the bloodlines connected. Before they know it, Emily and her friend group get mixed up with Naga Soth, a coven of white witches, Queen of Witches, a dangerous game for Emily's soul. Directed by Chuck Russell, Witchboard stars Melanie Jarnson, Charlie Tahan, and Campbell Bauer. That's right, Vecna is going to play the eccentric occultist. Witchboard is a modern spin on the 1986 film of the same name and directed by Kevin Tenney. Set to release on August 15th, critical response for the movie has been largely positive so far, which gives us hope for this messy but fun flick. Went up the hill. Jack was separated from his mother at a young age and placed in a foster home. Years later, he decides to attend her funeral in New Zealand, where he also gets to meet his mother's beloved wife, Jill. That night, Jill begins to talk to Jack as his mother. Soon, Jack realizes that Jill isn't the only one his mother possesses, as he too often talks to Jill as his mother. Samuel Van Grinsven's movie, Went Up the Hill, explores the relationship between 3 souls, difficult reality that Jack and Jill have to live in, not the inhabitants of their bodies. Scheduled to have a limited theatrical release on August 15th, Went Up the Hill is definitely an original idea that we haven't seen on screen before. Starring Dacre Montgomery and Ricky Cripes in the main roles, Went Up the Hill has some alluring sound effects courtesy of Robert McKenzie, with some innovative cinematography provided by Tyson Perkin. Hell House LLC Lineage. The Hell House LLC franchise, created by Stephen Cognetti, is ready to welcome its fifth installment, Hell House LLC Lineage, August 20th, 2025. The movie centers on Vanessa Shepard, who suffers from repeated visions and nightmares after surviving a near-death experience. She lives in the town of Abaddon, which seems to have a mysterious grip on her. People around her start to die, begins uncovering terrifying connections between the Carmichael Manor, Abaddon Hotel, and mysterious murders that have been happening in Abaddon for decades. Director Cognetti has teased the movie to be the scariest in the franchise, first non-found footage movie. Starring Joe Bandaloo, Mike Sutton, Sierra Saka, and Elizabeth Vermelier, Hell House LLC Lineage also promises the return of some old characters in the franchise, like the Carmichael siblings. We all know how scary the first few Hell House movies were. If Cognetti holds up his promise, this is going to be the scariest of them all, and we're in for a treat. Shelby Oaks. Mia Brennan starts to search for her younger sister Riley and has the horrible realization that the imaginary demon they used to fear in their childhood had been imaginary after all. In his feature directorial debut, Chris Stuckman is all set to launch Shelby Oaks into theaters on October 3rd, 2025. Emile Sullivan, Brendan Sexton III, Robin Bartlett, and Michael Beach star in the movie, which is based on The Paranormal Paranoids, an online marketing campaign that uses the found footage form of storytelling. Shelby Oaks premiered on July 20th, 2024 at the 28th Fantasia International Film Festival and has gained mixed reviews. The positive side praises Stuckman as one of the most promising new voices in horror, lauded the scary atmosphere the movie creates. On the other side, critics are of the belief that the movie's first half is so strong, the second half is incapable of following through. It was also accused of overusing cliches. Now, whether the movie is good or formulaic and cliche, we'll be able to tell when it's finally released.
Nothing's a toy.
The Conjuring Last Rites. Without a doubt, Conjuring Last Rites is one movie that we personally are very excited about. Our beloved paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren are out on their last case in Last Rites, directed by Michael Chavez, and set to be released on September 5th, 2025. There haven't been any official confirmations. The movie is said to be about the Smurl haunting. Jack and Janet Smurl moved to a house in West Pittston, Pennsylvania, began to suffer attacks from a dangerous demon. They were at last helped by the Warrens. Their story is an intriguing and scary look into the world of the paranormal. The Conjuring Last Rites is going to be the 9th installment in the franchise, is a direct sequel to The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It. Though not an end to the franchise, this is the last movie that will have Ed and Lorraine Warren, Patrick Wilson, and Vera Farmiga. If you've enjoyed any of the Conjuring movies, you don't want to miss out on this couple's last hurrah.
When? Yeah, it took me a while to realize the truth.
The Long Walk. Set in a dystopian future, The Long Walk is a terrible competition. Young men come from all around America to participate. The rules are simple yet deadly. Everyone has to walk at a minimum speed of 3 miles per hour. One who falls below this speed is shot. Walk continues until there's only one survivor. The winner gets to have whatever he wants for the rest of his life. The Long Walk is based on Stephen King's 1979 novel of the same name. It was actually the first novel he ever wrote. It was published 8 years after his debut novel, Carrie. King published the novel under his pseudonym, Richard Bachman, as a means of testing out whether his success was due to talent or luck. The Long Walk, directed by Francis Lawrence, stars legendary actor Mark Hamill, Judy Greer, Cooper Hoffman, David Johnson, and Joshua Odjay. Long Walk has been missing out on its film debut for a long time now. It was first considered by George A. Romero for an adaptation, but nothing came of it. In 2007, Frank Darabont bought the rights, but that too fizzled out. Soon, the rights lapsed, allowing New Line Cinema to buy it. There's no doubt that the movie is going to be entertaining, as it has the hands of the king of horror, Stephen King, behind it. Cameron Cade, a promising young football player, is taken under the wing of legendary quarterback Isaiah White. He begins training under Isaiah's watchful eye in his isolated compound. Soon, the training turns dark as the aging legend takes his protege on a journey towards fame, power, money, and excellence. From what we've seen of the trailer, the movie is sure to keep you on edge with the lengths people go to for their passions. Directed by Justin Tipping, Him stars Marlon Wayans, who's mostly known for his comedic roles as Isaiah White, and Tyreek Withers as Cameron Cade. Originally called Go, the spec script of the movie was voted into the list of best unproduced screenplays in 2022. That same year, bought by Monkey Paw Productions, helmed by Jordan Peele. Him will be released in theaters on September 19th. It's already got a nomination for the Golden Trailer Award. Though we're not clear about the plot details, the involvement of Jordan Peele assures us that this movie will be fighting for a spot top horror movies of 2025 list. The Strangers. Chapter 2. Maya had started the journey to Portland. Boyfriend Ryan hopes that he's wrong she was. Couple's troubles began when their car broke down in Venus, Oregon, forced to stay in an isolated Airbnb for the night. Fortunately, they were hunted down by the strangers: Pin-Up Girl, Scarecrow, and Dollface. Ryan was killed in the ordeal, while Maya survived thanks to the timely intervention of the cops. Can't take a sigh of relief just yet, though, as she still has to escape the vindictive villains, no one to trust, and nowhere to run. Will Maya survive? Catch The Strangers Chapter 2 in local theaters on September 26th to find out. Fourth film in the Strangers franchise, Chapter 2 is directed by Rennie Harlan and stars Madeline Petch, Gabriel Basso, and Emma Horvath. This movie is also part of a new trilogy, which all three movies were shot simultaneously. If you're a fan of good slashers with thrilling storylines, consider putting The Strangers Chapter 2 top of your watch list. Keeper. The trailer for Keeper shows clips of different women shot by someone they love as they all look happily, lovingly, whoever's behind the camera. Then there's an abrupt cut. You see the same women screaming with blood over their faces. All that we know about the story so far is that it's about a couple, Liz and Malcolm, who take a romantic trip to a remote cabin on account of their anniversary. As luck would have it, Malcolm is forced to leave for the city because of some work. Liz has to spend the time alone, as she had hoped, as the cabin houses a sinister presence. Despite so little information released about its plot, Keeper has built up a lot of intrigue. It's directed by Osgood Perkins and stars Tatiana Maslany and Rossif Sutherland. Keeper will be released on November 14th. Can't arrive sooner, as we're filled to the brim with curiosity.
Hello, Freddy.
Black Phone 2. Finney Blake had successfully escaped the confines of the Grabber, a serial child kidnapper and murderer, but his troubles are far from over. Finney, now 17, must deal with life after captivity. As he navigates life with an unerasable trauma imprinted into his memory, his sister begins having weird dreams. In them, she sees herself talking on the Black Phone, boys being stalked in Alpine Lake. Building on the success of Black Phone, the second installment is set to be released on October 17th, 2025. Black Phone 2 is directed by Scott Derrickson, brain behind Sinister, Exorcism of Emily Rose. Expect to see Ethan Hawke, Mason Thames, Madeline McGraw, and Jeremy Davis reprise their roles in the movie as the Grabber, Finney, Gwen, and Terrence, respectively. Only time will tell if the Black Phone 2 can match up to its predecessor. If you like suspense and supernatural thrillers, this might be the movie for you. Bone Lake. Sage and Diego book a romantic getaway to the secluded Bone Lake. When they arrive at the mansion, they realize that it's been double booked as another couple, Will and Sin, insist that they too had rented the mansion. As Sage was desperate for some time off, she convinces Diego to share the mansion with the couple, despite Diego expressing doubts about living with complete strangers. Soon, tensions escalate, and what was supposed to be a calming getaway takes a violent and scary turn. Directed by Mercedes Bryce Morgan, Bone Lake premiered on September 21st, 2024 at the Fantastic Fest. It's set to be released on October 24th and stars Maddie Hassan, Marco Pigosi, and Alex Rowe, as well as Andra Nichita. Bone Lake takes visual inspiration from A Clockwork Orange, Funny Games, and Evil Dead 2. The movie has already bagged the Bronze Audience Award at the 2024 Brooklyn Horror Film Festival and is the movie to look out for if you've been complaining about the lack of erotic horrors nowadays.
So this is your first hunt.
Predator Badlands. On a remote planet, a young predator, Deck, finds an unlikely companion, Thea, a synthetic robot, on a journey to battle his nearly undefeatable enemy. Starring Elle Fanning and Demetrius Schuster Kolo Amatangi, Predator Badlands is a science fiction fantasy film, a buddy comedy, and a thriller horror all rolled into one. Directed by Dan Trachtenberg, known for 10 Cloverfield Lane and Prey, Predator Badlands employs the Mongolian folk metal band The Who for its music. Though it's set in the Predator universe, it can be viewed as a standalone film. If you think all Predator movies follow the same formula and are predictable, you might want to take a look at Predator Badlands, which ventures outside its typical slasher genre to become a well-rounded survival tale. Trachtenberg has also found inspiration from games like Shadow of the Colossus, Uncharted, Half-Life 2, and God of War. This is a treat for lovers of action, thrillers, or just the Predator movies in general. You can catch this one in theaters on November 7th.
Everywhere.
5 Nights at Freddy's 2. Freddy Fazbear, Chica, Bonnie, Mr. Cupcake, and Foxy are back to terrorize you once more. Last we saw, Mike and Abby had narrowly escaped the clutches of the haunted animatronics. This time, their unwitting victim will be Jeremy Fitzgerald, who finds a job as a security guard at the new Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria after having quite some bad luck in his life. Directed by Emma Tammy, Five Nights at Freddy's 2 is sure to invite even those who have no interest in the video game it's based on, as it boasts a spectacular cast. For starters, Matthew Lillard, Josh Hutcherson, and Elizabeth Lail will return as the crazed serial killer William Afton, former security guard Mike Schmidt, and Afton's daughter Vanessa, respectively. Another exciting addition to the movie is Skeet Ulrich, who along with Matthew Lillard was the original killer in the very first Scream movie. Are you really a horror fan if you're not excited to see Billy Loomis and Stu Macher share the screen once more? This is set to be the most expensive Blumhouse project to date, with a budget of $1 billion. Five Nights at Freddy's 2 is ready to be released on December 5th, 2025. Frankenstein. In 1818, Mary Shelley changed the way horror was looked at forever with her groundbreaking novel, Frankenstein, or The Modern Prometheus. The story follows the brilliant scientist Victor Frankenstein as he creates a sapient creature made from stitched-together dead body parts. The creature is so hideous that Frankenstein too runs away from his creation as the monster chases him and threatens to wipe out his entire family if he doesn't make him a companion. The monster is written with great nuance as he too is brilliant but cannot make any connection because of his scary looks. Who better to tell this story than Guillermo del Toro, a man of the monsters? Starring Oscar Isaac as Victor Frankenstein and Jacob Elordi as Frankenstein's monster, the movie will have its global premiere at the 82nd Venice International Film Festival and then will be released on Netflix in November 2025. Though the movie isn't going to be a direct adaptation of Shelley's novel, Frankenstein is sure to be a smash hit, as Del Toro has admitted to dreaming about making this movie for decades. Don't miss this one if you're a fan of the classics and creature features.
There's a legend Shirishama worshipped giant snakes as gods and protectors.
Anaconda. A group of best friends contract a nasty case of midlife crisis and decide to remake their favorite movie. They head to the jungle to film it, but what they don't realize is that the jungle is home to the humongous creature, the Anaconda. The sixth installment in the Anaconda franchise, this film is going to be a comedic remake of the original 1997 film. We trust that it will deliver a riot as it stars Jack Black, Paul Rudd, Sultan Mello, and Thandie Newton. We don't have much information on this movie as a trailer is yet to be released, but if you like horror comedies, Anaconda might be one you need to look out for in theaters this Christmas.
Anything can happen.
Marvelous verdict. We hope we gave you horror fans enough movies to keep your calendar packed for the rest of the year, but did we miss out on any important ones? Let us know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, please let us know by tapping that thumbs up button and sharing it with your friends. We'll be back soon with more scary recommendations, but until then, thanks for watching, stay safe out there, and have a marvelous day.